Forget business diagrams. It's all about smart art in the new Microsoft Office. Today on Call for Help.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome. It's time for Call for Help. Yes, that silly little show that shows you how to use technology. And that silly little show has been around since 1998. Here in Canada, we've been doing it since 2002. A couple of years, but 412 episodes. That's a long time, and we are glad you're here. I think one of the reasons this show's been around for so long is because we give people information they can really use, and we don't try to impress you with our intelligence or talk down to you or be cheerleaders, rah for technology. It's just straight talk about stuff that we use and we think you might get some value out of. Let me introduce my co-host and good friend, Amber MacArthur. Great
Hello,
to have
Leo.
you here, as always.
Good to be here, as always.
So today you're going to show us preload.
Preloader.
Preloader.
What Preloader is it's kind of a middleman for Flickr. So if you're used to uploading images to Flickr,
Which is painful, frankly.
which is a little bit painful, but also when you upload them off your digital camera, sometimes the photos, you know, they're not cropped the way you want them, and you can't do a lot of editing. Well, this actually plugs right into Flickr, so that in the process of uploading, you can also edit and manipulate the photos.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
It's really neat, really seamless, simple to use.
It's interesting because, you know, Flickr I don't think is making that much money for Yahoo. They acquired it, and there's a lot of bandwidth that they're pumping out and not a lot of revenue coming in, and yet it's perceived as this great success in Web 2.0. It's like the poster child for social networking. So there's all these sites that are piggybacking on it. But if Flickr's not making any money, I wonder if these other sites can
like
survive
YouTube,
either.
all these other
Same
sites and
thing.
services. The same thing. You know, we realize it's hard to make money with a lot of these services, and no one's quite figured it out. And hopefully we'll see some interesting things and innovative things happen over the next little while to see how revenue is actually generated.
They said we'd never see another bubble like we did in 1999, but I'm wondering if this is kind of similar with a lot of companies. I mean, there's amazing creativity, wonderful stuff is coming out, but the business side of it is maybe not as
Yeah, well, hopefully the bus
developed.
won't be so bad, because I think a lot of people are focusing on small teams
Right.
and not going out and getting a ton of investment money. So they're going to kind of ride it out, and there won't be as much to lose in the sense that you
Right.
may not have $15, $20 million invested in your company, and that kind of pressure.
That's a good point. And then, so the great ideas will survive and rise to the top, and the rest will just fall off. But it's no big loss. Nobody's invested a huge amount in the stock, or that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, maybe that's what's different. This
One can
time.
only hope.
Tell you one thing that's different, and one of the reasons you're seeing so many new and exciting websites is it's easier than ever before to create these sites, thanks to programs like Ruby on Rails. Now, 2 years old, it's very new, but it is an amazing programming environment for quickly coming up with a site, developing it, and working on it with your users to improve it as it's running. Reuven Cohen is a web developer, in fact, the top web developer in Canada.
Yep, the
according
top
to,
web development firm in Canada.
Yeah, according to Flash in the Can.
Yep.
And he's going to talk a little bit about Ruby on Rails. You might have been hearing the buzz about it. If you're a young guy just starting out, somebody sent me an email. It said, I have 6 weeks off, school's out, and I need something to do. You got any suggestions? And I said, learn Ruby on Rails, think up a great idea in Web 2.0, and you can do this in 6 weeks and create a site and start making money right now. And I think in 6 weeks you could do that if you had some great ideas.
Yeah, you probably could.
It's pretty. I just love it.
I know if you had 6 weeks off, you'd probably do it.
I don't. If I had 6 minutes off, I might do it. Bill Jelen is also here, Mr. Excel, and as you said, he's going to talk about something new, part of Office 2007, called Smart Tart.
Smart art?
Oh, Smart Art. Oh, I thought. Oh, completely different from what I thought.
We're hungry, you know.
Yes,
Everything looks like tarts at this
Dinner
point.
time. Anyway, you know, I know a lot of people watch this show and eat dinner while they're watching. And would you please share, because we're famished
We're
here.
starving.
Let's get our first call of the day on.
All right, we have Emmanuel on the webcam from Tecumseh, Ontario.
Ah, how are you, Emmanuel?
Good.
Welcome to Call for Help. You got anything for us to eat?
No.
No. See? Why don't people bring food anymore?
I wish they
Used
did.
to be you'd come to somebody's house, you'd bring a cake, a nice piece of fish, something. What can I do for you, Emmanuel?
Well, one day I opened my DVD drive.
Yep, there he is. He's opening it right now. He's showing us. Yes.
Well,
He bent over.
and then after I open it,
Yes.
and I thought I pressed the button, but I didn't.
What are you doing, sit-ups?
Then my knee hit it, and I
Your knee hit it.
went on an angle.
It went at an angle.
And then I pushed it in, and now it doesn't open.
Let me ask you a question, Emmanuel.
Yeah?
When you pushed in the thing to go like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounds broken to me. All right, so you want to know if you could fix it, huh?
Well, when I open it, I push it, it closes it.
Oh, so you can kind of move it in and out a little bit?
Yeah.
Wow, that was neat. I wonder if it'll do it the other way if I...
But I can't open it. But I can, when I press the button, it doesn't open.
Well, I was going to show you what's inside here, but it closed all by itself. How do we open it? A little toothpick? Okay, here we go. There we go. So what you'll see if you probably, have you looked inside?
No.
What you'll see if you look inside, and you might even be able to see this on camera, these drawers have it's actually a very primitive mechanism. You see there's little teeth there along the edge. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can kind of see that. And if you could see in here, you'd see there's a gear inside there, and that's how it pushes the drawer out, and it turns the gear, and it retracts it and pushes it out again, retracts it and pushes it out. Now, it might be that you merely popped the teeth off the gear, in which case, if you gingerly take the thing apart, you might be able to get it back on track. You know, it's like a zipper that's gotten broken. If you get it back in where it's supposed to be, it might work just fine. On the other hand, it is plastic in most of these drives. In fact, I've never seen one that's not plastic, which means you could very easily have snapped something. And if you've snapped it, it may be that it'll never work again. It's hard to say. The truth is, you don't have to have this be automatic and all like that stuff. If you could just get it in straight in such a way that it can position the CD, what actually happens is the CD is going to go to a point inside the drive where there's a spindle. The spindle will come up and grab the CD and start spinning it around. So as long as you can get the CD in the right positioning, if you haven't knocked a laser read head out of alignment or broken something inside that keeps it from going in there and spinning, you might actually still be able to use it. Now the good news is these things are, you know, $25. I mean, you probably can get a new one. It's not too hard to take it out and fix it. But you know, replace it. But if you feel the urge to try to fix it, go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, what you don't want to do is damage the discs that you put in there, right?
Yeah.
So I would be a little bit careful. Did you give me this screwdriver, Sean, hoping that I would take this apart? Shall I take this apart?
Yeah.
I don't know if I really recommend people do this.
No, it takes a little bit of work, and that one right there is very hard to get into.
Oh, come on. You don't I only have a minute and a half. You think I can take this apart in 1 minute? I only have a minute. The ear people are telling me, Leo, come on, hurry up. So, Emmanuel, the truth is, the good news is in many ways that a lot of these PC components, things like mice, keyboards, even CD drives, are very inexpensive now. They become commodity products and they're easily replaced for a very little amount of money. So, if you know, go ahead. This will be a learning experience. You can open it up, and next time don't sit on the CD drawer, okay?
Okay.
Hey, thanks for the call. It's great to talk to you.
Can I have your autograph?
Yes, you can.
Amber's too?
And Amber's too? Maybe we'll autograph this and send it to him.
Okay.
All right. Hey, thanks, Emmanuel.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, well, hang on the line so we'll get your address and we can send you out an autograph. Maybe I'll just spend the rest of the show taking this apart. So we've got I took off the lid, but now there's a logic board in here. So I'm gonna have to remove those screws, take that out. You've got to be pretty careful. It's pretty much the kind of project you might do figuring you got nothing to lose because you're going to have to buy a new one anyway. I remember I used to take apart watches when I was a kid. I never got them back together again. Coming up next, so let me have some fun with this. We'll get a scoop on a beautiful way of writing code that is taking old conventions, throwing them out the window. Something I'm very excited about. In fact, I've been spending some time trying to learn it. Ruby on Rails. We'll talk about the latest in web development when we continue right after this. Stay right here.
The clock is ticking, and as of now, we are keeping score.
If you're at all into web development, maybe even a little programming on the side, you probably already heard about this runaway train, Ruby on Rails, 2 years old and already one of the hottest open source frameworks for designing web applications today. What is a framework? I mean, basically, it means that you can take a programming language, in this case Ruby, and have the framework, the scaffolding of a full application ready to roll just like that. So what would have taken maybe weeks or months to write can be produced in a matter of days. and it has some other neat features, but I'll tell you what, let's talk about it with a developer who specializes in web applications. In fact, his company is the top Canadian web developer for 2006, according to the Flash in the Can. Reuven, welcome back. Reuven Cohen from Anomaly.
Anomaly, yes.
Anomaly. We'll put a link up on the website because you may not guess at the spelling. So first of all, did I describe frameworks accurately? What is a framework?
Well, in this case, the framework represents a series of components. There's an acronym that's been thrown around lately called MVC, which stands for a Model View Controller. And what that basically means is you're separating the logical parts of an application in order to build those components more quickly. So in MVC frameworks such as Ruby on Rails, you're able to take the data model, which is the information that's stored within the system.
The kind of database description, basically.
Database description, information.
Schema.
The view, which is the user interface. And
How you look at that data.
How you see, how you interact with it, in this case, in a lot of AJAX-enabled applications. And the controller, what happens to the information once you hit a button.
Linking the model to the view, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. In fact, actually, that's how you do development on the Macintosh. This is kind of the latest buzz phrase in computer science. But there is an advantage to developing in this, thinking of your programs this way. It speeds up development.
It speeds up development. It uses an approach to development called Agile or Extreme, which basically allows you to take the parts of an application and simplify it into smaller aspects of an application.
And it's intuitive, too, because it's how we think, isn't it? We think of a view, we think of the database, we think of how they interact. That's kind of a natural way to think about it.
For most people, it's definitely an easier way to see an application, interact with it. You have much faster response. You build a component, you instantaneously see how it works.
So there's a programming language, Ruby for Ruby on Rails. You're going to show us Symfony, which uses PHP, TurboGears, which uses Python. These are web programming, or actually traditional programming languages, that they have these frameworks wrapped around them to make it easier to program, to give you this MVC, this model view controller setup, so the programmer could just sit right down and pretty much get a website up instantly.
So rather than programming a pile of code, you're tying into an existing framework in this case that allows you to use those components that have already been predetermined.
It's somebody else's pile of code, but if they've done a good job, it's not too hard to tie into it, right?
Exactly.
Right. Well, show us. The Rails is probably the one right now everybody's talking about. I think they've got a good marketing department.
They've got a great marketing department. It was developed by a company called 37 Signals out of Chicago, and these guys were very lucky in the sense that they were able to be at the right place at the right time, and that was the beginning of the Web 2.0 phenomenon.
Yeah, we've actually talked about a number of their sites like Basecamp and Backpack, which are written in Ruby on Rails. So they developed the framework in order to support their own development, their own application.
Yes, and it's open source, which in this model, they've taken and said, we're going to build ourselves some special applications for our company, but we're going to make our framework publicly available,
which
is a little inverse to what is typically done in open source, but it's actually a great marketing model for these guys.
Wonderful, yeah. So how would I get started? Let's say I'm a programmer, a high school kid. This would be a great thing for a high school kid, or even
great for developers who are just starting out that want to learn a great system. And one of the things I like in regards to
Ruby's website, Ruby on Rails website, yeah.
Yes, the Ruby on Rails website is they've done a great job in presenting the actual code in a realistic way with their screencasts.
Screencasts are a neat idea where you actually watch a video of somebody working in the language.
So you can see an actual website or a blog being created within 15 minutes here. So this particular screencast, they have a number on the page here.
This is the one, though, that got them all the notoriety.
This is the famous one.
Yeah.
You watch this screencast, and you can basically have a fully functional weblog within 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it's so impressive to watch it. You go, oh, I could do that. I want to get into Rails.
Yeah, it's perfect for the sort of copy and paste artists out there that want to say, you know, I understand technology to a point, but it'd be a lot easier if I could see it in action.
There's a really good book to Agile web development in Ruby on Rails that I highly recommend. It's just a really fantastic book. Here's the screencast itself.
Let's hope it downloads. Okay.
Let's see. Okay.
So
here it comes. Yeah.
So the screenshot is basically one of the developers going through the initial processes.
And typing.
This particular interface is a command line interface, which isn't the best for beginners in some cases.
Not like Visual Basic, where you can draw, drag items around and so forth.
It's a little more code oriented. Again, you're tying in directly into the system, but you're still dealing with traditional code interface.
Let's say I already know PHP, because I think a lot of developers do. Is there something like Ruby on Rails for PHP?
There are a number of different MVC frameworks for programming languages such as PHP. But before, though, I want to just quickly mention the rad Rails, which basically gives you a more traditional interface to Ruby on Rails.
Oh yeah, this is so you more VB-like.
More VB-like. So this works on something called Eclipse. It gives you an interface. It gives you the code in a lot of cases. It just makes it a lot easier. I would highly recommend using something like this rather than a traditional command line approach.
Is this Windows, Mac, and Linux?
Yes, it's a Java-based application. It'll run on pretty much any application that supports Java.
Great. Rad. I'm going to have to try that. Yeah.
Highly recommended. In regards to PHP, one of the ones that I use commonly is one called Symfony. And it's Symfony with an F, just to make it confusing. And it's a great little system. It uses PHP 5, which is more object-oriented than previous PHP versions. So you can take a lot of the benefits of an object-oriented programming in terms of the way the information is grouped, specifically in an MVC framework, so you can build out the apps much more quickly.
Now, I'm a Python fan from way back. I would love to see something like this in Python. Do we have some choices there?
There are a number as well in Python. One of the ones that we use at Anomaly quite frequently is one called TurboGears. The TurboGears application is a little more application focused than content focused. So although you can build blogs and so forth with it, we tend to use it for much more specific management and enterprise systems. So systems that you'd use within a business context.
Right. I guess the point is that this is a new way of doing things. There are lots of different tools out there. You pick the tool that's appropriate for what you want to do and the language you prefer and so forth. But really do explore this, because this is, I think, the wave of the future as far as web development goes. Yeah.
And there's certain things you got to keep in mind, and specifically, if you're looking to do a fancy site with animations, then choosing the framework that dictates the animations better would be something to look into.
Right. Is there somewhere people can go to kind of get a rundown of all of these different things? Is there anybody who's kind of put that all together?
There are a number of sites that aggregate the AJAX and web libraries out there.
Right.
One of the things that I commonly go to is a site called TechCrunch. It's kind of the
Michael Arrington's site.
Yes, it's a great sort of starting point for the Web 2.0 phenomenon.
Right.
And there's a number of others. That's a good starting point. You'll find lots of links off that site.
Reuven. Reuven Cohen is one of the developers on Ruby on Rails. So you've worked on the Ruby on Rails project? Did you have something to do with the...
My nickname on the Ruby on Rails project is Ruby on Rails.
He's Ruby! Yeah. Oh, wow, so that's great. You can find more about Ruby on Rails at rubyonrails.com. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. And, of course, learn more about Reuven and his company, Anomaly, by going to their website, or just go to the show notes. We've got links to all of that at callforhelptv.com. Now, it's time to take our next tech quiz question of the day. Who founded Research in Motion, RIM? Was it Greg Austin, K.Y. Ho, Mike Lazaridis, or Mike Lazazara? You trying to throw me on this one? Get to the website, give us the answer, we'll talk about it. We'll Call for Help continues.
Welcome back to Call for Help. Time for our Mac tip of the day. Here's how you can download a WordPress widget from apple.com. All you have to do is go to the site, download WordPress Dash, and then if you have a WordPress account for your blog, you can automatically post from the dashboard on your Mac. And now we have another caller. We have Justin on the line from Edmonton, Alberta.
Thank you, Amber. Hello, Justin.
Hey, Leo. Hey, Amber. How you guys doing?
Hi there.
We're doing great, especially now that you're here.
Oh, perfect.
What can we do for you?
Well, I just wanted to say, actually, I love the show. I've used so many of those tips.
Oh, good.
Actually,
Thank you.
I've got a question of my own.
Yes.
Okay, I've got an older computer. It doesn't actually have a floppy disk drive.
Okay.
And I've got Adobe Photoshop 4.0.
Okay.
What I want to do is just install it so I can kind of goof around with Adobe on there, but all my Adobe disks are in floppy format.
So just out of curiosity, Photoshop 4, how many floppies did it take to install Photoshop 4?
22.
And inevitably on disk 21 it'd be bad, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember installing Windows from floppies, and it was like that. It was 24, I think. It was 2 boxes. It was unbelievable. Thank God CD-ROMs came along. Right. So what you want to do, since you don't have a floppy, is somehow get these disks onto a CD-ROM.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do.
So we've taken apart this CD-ROM drive, and you'll see that once you take it apart, the floppy disk fits right into the drawer, and you can just jam it in. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Obviously, that is not my advice to you.
Right.
But I was just impressed that Sean was able to get this CD-ROM apart. So a couple of things you can do. Oftentimes, and it really depends on the installer that they use, oftentimes just having all the files on the floppies will work. You have to look and just take all those files and put them on a CD-ROM. So what you'll do is you'll find it. You do need a machine with a floppy drive at some point. You copy all the files off of the floppies into one big folder. Put that folder on the CD-ROM, and frequently, if it's an intelligent installer, it'll find all the files and it'll just do the whole thing. Sometimes. And I've done this, by the way. And sometimes it'll say, I can't find the floppy, where is it? And then you say, it's on drive D. And you go, oh, yeah, thank you. And worst case scenario, you'll have to do that 22 different times.
Okay.
That's the worst case scenario. Now, if in a few cases, it really does say that has to be on drive A. That's just brain dead. If it's a really stupid installer, it might say, no, there is no floppy on D. I need a floppy. In which case, you will have to trick it into thinking that you've got floppies mounted. And for that, you can use, there are a number of programs that will basically make what is essentially ISO image files of the floppy. The one I recommend is WinImage. It's absolutely free. You're on Windows? Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
WinImage is absolutely free from Gilles Volant. And it will take a floppy disk and turn it into an image file, basically an ISO file, which you can then put on a CD-ROM, mount the CD-ROM, mount the individual image files, so it looks like you've got 22 floppy disks on the machine, and then do the installer. Photoshop will be smarter than that. In all likelihood, especially Photoshop 4, which is a fairly recent version, in all likelihood, if you just make a big lump of files on the CD-ROM, it'll see them and it'll just go right through them.
Okay.
But yeah, I completely know how you feel. It was such a relief when I didn't have to do 24 floppies to install Windows.
Yeah.
Oh, I still have my Windows 3.1 disks. These things, a lot of people have floppies lying around. I just want to warn people, don't use these for backups. These things are not reliable, In fact, it's probably prudent, Justin, for you to get those files off of those floppies as quickly as you can.
That's one of the other reasons why I wanted to do it, because, I don't have floppies anymore on my laptop. I don't have...
No,
I have this old computer that was lying around. I just felt like, let's use it to kind of play around with.
And you know what? Floppies are just pieces of plastic, mylar with iron oxide on them, and that iron oxide flakes off just like a cassette, just like an 8-track. They don't last very long. Floppies are not a reliable backup medium, so absolutely get them off the floppies. Put it on a CD. It should work fine.
Perfect.
Okay, Justin?
Great.
And WinImage is a great program to have around. It's absolutely free. WinImage.com.
WinImage.com.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. There's all sorts of ways you can use this. It's a very, very handy program. Absolutely free. Coming up on Call for Help. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you very much.
A speedy way to edit your Flickr pics online. Amber has found, yes, another great Web 2.0 site. Faster than you can say linked image manipulation functions. Linked image manipulation functions. Keep practicing that. We'll be back right after this break. Linked image manipulation functions. Very good for your enunciation. If you're a Flickr fan, and we all are, I certainly am. I'm a Flickr fan, thanks to Amber, who actually got me going on Flickr a couple of years ago. But you're going to absolutely love this neat new web application. It's kind of an intermediary between your computer, where your pictures are, or your camera, and Flickr. But it integrates very tightly to allow you to edit your photos as you upload them. Amber's here to walk us through Preloader.
Yes.
Just like Flickr, no E.
There's no E, so you have to remember that. Because if you go to Preloader ER, then you're going to go someplace else. So this is a really great web app that, like you said, that works really well with Flickr. And I'm just going to get into showing how it works because it's kind of simple. But the idea is that you want to use this while you upload images to Flickr that you need to edit them. So instead of opening up Photoshop or another program that you might be using to edit your photos, which is sometimes a bit of a beast to load up and change things in there, you can do this all in one seamless process. So we'll show you how it works. Here we are at preloader.com. preloader.com. And it's really simple. You don't even have to sign up for Preloader, which I love.
I love that.
So all you do is you click sign in, and you sign in directly to your Flickr account.
Oh.
So you sign in, and then it gives you an interface that looks like this right
So
here.
really, this is now your interface to Flickr.
This is now your interface to Flickr. So then you log in, and then it looks kind of like Flickr, so you can see all of your most recent photos. They're all listed down here. And so the idea is you can choose a photo you want to edit. I'm going to choose this photo called the iPod birthday cake. So my roommate Jenna made this for my birthday.
She did?
Yeah, so
Oh
it's my pink
God,
iPod
that's hysterical.
with the licorice and the little marshmallows
And you're 4
icing.
years old.
Exactly.
So sweet.
So she did a really nice job of this. But,
Boy, she did. Look at that.
Yeah, and the song is "Oops, I Did It Again" by Britney Spears. So anyway, we'll move on.
That is adorable.
I know,
She
it's
even has
really
little
cute.
headphones.
She did a great job. I was so excited that I saw it. And our friend Marcella, whose birthday it was at the same time, is a pharmacist, and she created a capsule, like a pill.
Oh,
that did the same sort of thing.
Jenna's a very inventive cook.
She really is.
Wow.
Anyway, we'll move on from that. So what I want to do is I want to edit this photo because I'm putting it up on Flickr, and I know it might get a lot of attention because people might want to make a birthday cake just like this.
Right.
So I have all these tools here at the top of the page. So I could go in and I can click on the image to change the image size, rotate. I can add layers. I can also filter. So let's say, you know,
Wow,
I wouldn't.
look at that.
I know it has a lot of the Photoshop language in it as well, which is really handy. Not that I would want to do this, but let's say I wanted to make it a black and white image. I can quickly just click grayscale, which I wouldn't want to do because I like the
No,
pink
orange or the
iPod.
pink is good. Oh,
But then
that's
if I don't like what it's done there, I simply click undo, just like Photoshop again. I can crop the photo if I want, which is a really neat and easy way to do this. So I
Now,
can
have you
simply,
uploaded this to Preloader's site?
No, I actually uploaded this to Flickr already.
So it's on
showing,
Flickr?
Yeah, it's on Flickr right now.
Okay.
So it's showing my image on Flickr right
So
now.
you upload to Flickr first, and then you use Preloader to work on the
You can
files.
still upload through Preloader
Or
as
you can
well to
upload
Flickr.
through
You can do
Preloader,
both. I
okay.
just have some loaded up already.
Got it.
So let's say I want to rotate the image to the left because I think maybe it's a better view of
Easy
the
to
actual
read.
iPod birthday
Yep.
cake or just different. I can flip it. I can do a bunch of different things here. And again, like all the filters are pretty cool because you can change the brightness. And then you have access to the advanced tools over here, so you can change the gradient, and you have all your layers here. So for anyone, again, who's used Photoshop, it's a similar layout, but it's kind of a stripped down version
Right.
of it, but it's all a web interface.
That's really neat.
So,
And you can always go back. You can undo
yeah,
it
you can
anytime.
always undo, and that's a neat thing. So if I go back and I want to just undo how I've rotated it, I simply
Oops,
click that.
I undid it again.
I undid it again. And, you know, you can do everything from the brightness. So let's say that I think the birthday cake isn't bright enough.
This is amazingly powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, look, you even get a zoomed-in image, so you
Yeah,
can
you
really
get a
see what it's
zoomed
gonna
in
look like.
image, so I want to make it a lot brighter, so I've done that. So now it's actually rendering, so it went, that was the original, a little too bright. Let's go back the other way. It's got to, so, whoops, too dark now.
Oops, I did
I'm a little
it
anxious
again.
with the slider. So you can see why that name of the song is a good one for me.
I think so.
And then you simply click undo again. So a lot of the functionality that you would find in an image editing program, but integrated on the web and integrated into Flickr, and there's no sign up. So for if you really,
neat.
yeah, if you really care about editing your photos, which I think some people do,
Yeah.
it's just so much faster than opening up Photoshop and doing it in there.
I love it that if you already have a Flickr account, you don't have to sign up or anything. That makes it much easier.
It's really cool. And the
Yeah.
neat thing is that these guys are probably never going to make money off of something like this necessarily.
just did it.
They just did it. And if you read their about page and ask why they did it, you know, really they're saying that they did it because they wanted to really show people how powerful Flickr's API is and what they could do with it, and really encourage people to upload more photos and edit them, and really use Flickr as the place where you upload and store your photos.
So just to explain what an API is, it's the interface that Flickr has told people you can use this. They encourage this kind of thing. They said, here's how, if you wanted to interact with our site, you would do that. That's called an application programmer interface or an API.
Exactly. So you see with the API being opened up, you see a lot of mashups that are happening. And so this is
Yeah.
really an example of a really great mashup that will help people to do editing. And then if you have a pro Flickr account where you're storing all your photos online, it has the original size of the photos online. So you don't need to worry when you actually upload this, all of the photos will be stored on Flickr
And the
full
originals are
quality.
safe.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about any of that as well. You just want to rename it a different name when you're doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
so
to
if
make
you
sure.
saved it at the same name, it would
It
erase
will
it.
save over.
that's
So
good
you want
to
to make sure that you switch the name around.
Yeah, fixed. iPod cake fixed.
iPod cake. I know, it's a good one.
That's
It's
neat.
crafty.
She is crafty. She could sell that on Etsy or whatever.
Good
Maybe
idea.
not. For more information on Preloader, no E, visit callforhelptv.com, and you'll see Amber's show notes there. And if you've got a suggestion for Amber, something really cool and neat you think she'd want to show on the show,
Yep, you can email me at amber@callforhelptv.com.
you certainly can. Now, let's see what our control room crew is up to. I'm sure it's no good. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. So you stay right there.
10, 9, 8 commercials, 7, 6, 5 commercials, 4, 3 roll commercials, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Call for Help. Time for a Google Video tip of the day. Here's how you can add a purchase price to a video that you upload to Google Video using your Gmail account. Once you upload the video, all you have to do is go into Edit on the video and click on Advanced Options, and then you come to this screen in the Advanced Options, so you can decide that your video is no longer going to be free and you're going to add a purchase price, and then you can add in the purchase price in this little box here, and then click OK. And it has to be at least 99 cents. And now we have another caller. We have Alan on the line from Alberta Beach, Alberta.
Wow, that's inspiring. I would
know.
like to start selling some videos.
We should.
We should. I think we have a video of Mikey dancing around to Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. That's got to be worth 99 cents.
Buttercup Baby.
Buttercup Baby.
I'd pay 99 cents for that video.
Hey, Alan, how are you today?
Well, I'm doing very well. And congratulations on your second year. I guess this must be coming up pretty close on the anniversary here.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right, come to think of it. And in fact, I just signed a contract to do another year. So we're going through the end of 2007. So I'm very happy to say. So what can I do for you?
Well, I just want to say hello to everybody there, Amber, Basil, Mike, and Sean, and yourself, of course.
They're all
there.
saying hi back. Lots of waving going on in the studio.
Well, that's good. I can't see them because we couldn't get the webcam going here.
Oh, well. You can see it on TV later.
Yeah, oh, great. Anyhow, the question I have, Leo, is I want to reinstall Windows XP,
Okay.
and I want to find an easy way to slipstream all the
Oh, yeah.
updates and all the other goodies that will make the install as painless as possible.
Yeah, absolutely, because you probably have an install disk that maybe it has Service Pack 1 on it, but it doesn't have Service Pack 2 or all the security stuff. Maybe there's software you like to have on there, and you'd like to have all of that be part of your install disk. I think that's a very smart idea, and you use the right phrase. They call that slipstreaming. Windows supports it, by the way. It is not a magical thing to do. It's actually a fairly straightforward thing to do. The first thing, of course, is you need a Windows install disk. I presume you have that, yes?
Yeah, I have the original XP Professional.
Perfect. So you're going to copy all the files from that onto a folder on your computer. And then you want to add any updates. Now, this is an interesting little twist. Actually, Sean Carruthers taught me how to do this, which is kind of neat. First of all, you've got to get the updates. Now, normally, the way you get updates is you install them into your system on the fly by running Windows Update. Well, that's not going to do you any good, is it? Because if you do that, then you won't be able to get it into this install slipstream. So what you actually want to do is you want to go to Microsoft Windows Update, and instead of saying Update Now, you'll see on the left there is an administrator option, and that's what you want to use. I've just lost my monitor here, so I can't show you. Mike is crawling on the floor right now. Hold on a second.
on my own screen here, yeah, but continue on.
Yeah, so you see on the left, under Windows Update, if you could only see what's going on down here. There we go. You see on the left, Use Administrator Options, okay? That's what we want to click, is Use Administrator Options. Now, I can see it. Can you guys see it in the control room, or is that the problem, is that they can't see it? No, you got it? Okay. So you're going to use administrator options. Now what that'll do is it'll say update multiple operating systems, and that's what you're, in effect, what you're going to do. This is for IT administrators who are not upgrading just one computer but have a whole office to upgrade, right? They can't go to each machine and run Windows Update. They want to make one version, or in your case, they want to make a slipstream version. You'll click the link here that says Windows Update Catalog, and what that actually does is gives you a catalog of all of the different updates available. And you can create a download basket and say, I want to download this one, this one, this one. So you certainly want to start with Service Pack 2, because that'll get you right up to date to the point where that came out. And then you're going to need to add updates that came out after Service Pack 2. Okay? So you'll go here and you see you have to choose your version of Windows. See, this isn't assuming that you're doing it on this particular machine. So you actually have to say, no, I'm going to be doing it on a... Now here are your three choices. If you have the very earliest window, it's Windows XP RTM. That was the first version. That stands for Ready to Manufacture. You might have an updated version, Service Pack 1 edition. That was sold for many years. And now if you buy Windows, you'll get a Service Pack 2 edition. So click the one that you...
Well, I do have a Service Pack 2 disc that I got from Microsoft.
Excellent. So that... Oh, no. This is the version of the Windows installer, not the Service Pack 2 disc. Okay. But yeah, if you've got the Service Pack 2 disc, you don't have to download it. You'll do the same thing. You're gonna put that Service Pack 2 disc in, and you'll do this, by the way, after you do Service Pack 2, you'll do this with all the other updates. So you're gonna download any updates that you need based on the Windows you have. And then this is the technique, and Sean has written a very nice article, which I'm going to link to in the show notes. It's on the Call for Help site, that talks about this command line switch that you use. I don't know why, but this is the command line switch. First of all, you need to know the name of the file. This is the name of the update. In this case, this is the Service Pack 2 update, but if you have other updates, they'll have different names. The KB tells you which update it is. And then /integrate, and then the directory that you've created that contains all the other files. So you're going to create a single directory and that'll contain the original install files plus the update files. Does that make sense? You're slowly installing the update files into there. It's all explained in his article. There's a great little program called Nlight that will help you with this if you want to use a program, but you can also do it by hand. Once you've got all of the files upgraded, everything the way you want it, then you can burn that folder to a CD, and that is now a Slipstream CD with all of the updates in it.
Can you burn it to a DVD as well?
You sure could.
If it's bigger than a CD.
It may well be bigger than a CD. So absolutely, you can burn it to any disk that you can boot up from. So if you have a DVD burner, absolutely. And Sean's done a great job of putting all the links in here and everything for all the different stuff from Microsoft and so forth. So it's very easy for you to follow along with his instructions. I highly recommend you visit his article. If you can even go to the Call for Help site and do a search for Slipstreaming Windows XP, and you'll see this whole article describing it. But the key to understand is you're making a big folder with all the files. You start with the files from your Windows install disk, and then you bit by bit install the upgrades into it using this special command line, the integrate switch. That's the switch that Microsoft puts into its updates so that you can integrate them into an existing installer disk. Okay?
Hey, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Alan.
Leo.
Yeah, it's a very handy thing to do. In fact, we should probably all be doing this right now so that should we need to reinstall Windows, we'll have a CD, a Windows installer CD that is completely up to date. Maybe every 6 months you want to make a new one of those.
Yeah.
And if you preserve that directory, it'll be an easy thing to do. You just add those updates later. Do you find yourself typing the same thing over and over again in emails and documents? I know I do. That's called boilerplate. And it would sure be nice if we didn't have to retype that boilerplate over and over. I know on the Mac I use a great little program called Text Expander. Mike's found one for Windows. Free?
Absolutely
that
free.
That would be a free file of the day.
Absolutely. It's called Phrase Express, and it does exactly the same thing that Text Expander does for the Mac, except for the PC.
This is so... I can't tell people how valuable this is. Please use this program. It is just great.
Exactly. So in this one, I've already set up one. So I put in a description for, it says, I love working with Leo and Amber. And then I put the actual context of that what I'm going to be putting into each document. So I put in, I love working with Leo and Amber. Sean, you are my hero.
Okay,
right?
so that will be
what's actually put into each.
What's put into the document.
Yeah, and then you can go down here and you can use a hotkey combination, so like a bunch of Control, Alt, and then a number or a letter kind of a thing.
Yep.
Or you can use an abstract text.
That's what I recommend, so that when you type I love all as one word in caps, something that you probably would never type normally,
exactly,
it will automatically replace it.
And that's the key, finding something you won't type normally. Because if you put, love.
You know what I do? I double the first letter.
Yeah.
So if I want to have, for instance, I type my name and address a lot.
Yeah.
People want it. So I'll type AADDRESSS, double A address. And that's not something I normally type. When I type that, it replaces it, and it's very handy.
Exactly. So then you have a saved in here, so the auto text here is I love, right? All together, no space in between. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to go into a Word document. Again, this works in Firefox, works in anything else. So I'm going to type in I love, I-L-O-V-E, hit Enter.
Boom.
It's in.
Now you could do that in Word with auto text.
Yeah.
Painfully, one by one.
Yeah.
But this isn't just Word. This is and really the most important place to use it is your email program.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It sure saves a lot of time in email.
And then you can do a whole bunch of them.
Not that I would ever answer anybody's email with boilerplate.
No, of course not.
Rock on, peace out, and live like a rock star. That's kind of Mikey's motto.
Exactly.
So you type that a lot.
On a daily basis, on an hour, on a minute basis. Every minute I'm typing that. But anyhow, it's a cool little free file. Save you time and energy typing.
Live fast, die young, and leave a beautiful corpse. How about that? You want to put that in your...
A little bit morbid, yeah.
It's a little morbid.
Yeah.
All right. Mike Lazazzara, he is the king of the free file. For more of Mike's free files, go to our website, callforhelptv.com. And if you want to suggest a free file for Mike, because he's always looking for new ones, what do they do?
They can email me, Mike, at callforhelptv.com.
Oh, that was easy. Are you ready to spice up your next presentation? Mr. Spice Up is here. Maybe you know him as Mr. Excel. To show you how to jazz up your numbers, text, and formulas, and charts, of course. It's an all-in-one solution with the new Microsoft Office. We've been getting a lot of interesting previews of Office 2007. We'll get that in just a bit. But before we do, one more chance to take our next tech quiz question of the day. Who founded the great Canadian firm Research in Motion? They were the inventors of the BlackBerry, of course. Is it Greg Aasen, K.Y. Ho, Mike Lazaridis, or Mike Lazazzara? You're giving me a hard time. Now I know you're just making this stuff up. Go to the website, give us the answer, and we'll make something up right after this. Welcome back to Call for Help. Before the break, we asked you, who founded Research in Motion? This is one I had no idea. Now, all four of these are famous Canadian leaders of business. K.Y. Ho is the chairman of ATI. Mike Lazaridis. I think it might be Mike Lazaridis. That would be my guess. I'm not sure. Greg Aasen. It is. It's Mike Lazaridis. Wow. I had no idea. So Research in Motion, of course, a great company, the great Canadian company that created the BlackBerry, which we all love. As we all know, the key to making business documents look good is having lots of visuals. It's true, really, of almost any document, whether it's a spreadsheet, a chart, or a diagram, or anything, just to jazz it up. Bill Jelen is here to show us how to use a smart art function in the new Microsoft Office suite. He's even found a way to crack Microsoft's code and incorporate Excel formulas into the feature. Well, now, Mr. Excel, are you a hacker? Are you a hacker?
Well, you know, I was talking to Microsoft. I said, why didn't you put this feature in? And they said, we just didn't have time. And then during the call, I said, well, wait a second. If you do this, then you could do that. And the guy from Microsoft's like, oh, we have to blog about that.
That's good. That's a good sign. You
So
taught them something.
Trying to beat them to the punch.
You're schooling Microsoft. So show us this feature.
Okay, so it's called Smart Art.
Smart Art's been around for a while, right? There was Word Art for a while.
Yeah, and then there were business diagrams were kind of hidden down on the drawing toolbar.
Yeah.
They've really kind of expanded it for 2007, and it's available in Word, PowerPoint, and Excel.
Okay.
Okay, so you have 82 different built-in styles that you can create.
Arrows, circles, ovals,
so there's
diagrams.
Hierarchy charts, relationship charts, cycle charts. So we just select a chart, let's say a cycle chart, choose one, click OK. And then this is almost like PowerPoint. You can type your steps here, and you can have level 1 and level 2 text. So if you wanted bullet points, you just hit a tab and, 3A, 3B.
Okay, but it would be nice, you're right, if we get formulas in this. That's clearly something missing, yeah.
Okay. Now, one of the new paradigms in Office is we have a new ribbon now called Smart Art Tools. And there's two ribbons, the design and format. The leftmost ribbon are for the broad changes. So this is where we can change the colors. Just very quickly choose different color schemes. And then there's 8 or 9 different styles. So we can go from a really plain 2D style to some pretty wild 3D styles, and then even some horrible looking. If you have bad news, this is the style to use.
Yeah, hide it.
Yeah, no one can ever read what it is.
What does that say?
But really, with just a couple of clicks now, we can create some nice looking charts. Yeah. So let's take a look at some of the different charts we have. There's the cycle chart. Picture list lets you put pictures right in with text underneath. I mean,
that's great.
Yeah, very slick. The triangle chart, you can add more levels to the triangle.
Oh, I could have used that the other day. Oh, that's great.
And they have one that's upside down as well. The 2 arrows, push, pull. A new one is a gear chart. The only problem here is the limitation. It only lets you show 3 relationships. So if you had 4 or 5 things interacting, this chart
Okay.
Won't work.
But the size of the gear is determined by the values that you plug?
It's just 1, 2, and 3. Now, that would have been a cool thing, too, to make that.
Okay.
All of this is extensible, and we're trying to figure out the XML to be able to change things.
So it's just stored in an XML file?
It is.
Okay, so I think, soon people will figure all that stuff.
Now, Microsoft believes that this is all going to be created with PowerPoint. PowerPoint users will be the #1.
Yeah, I agree, because it looks like PowerPoint.
Okay, so they gave us this cool feature in PowerPoint that if I take any text that I have, highlight the text, right-click, there's an option it's called Convert to SmartArt.
Wow.
So right there, I can take any existing slide
Great palette.
and change it to SmartArt with a couple of clicks. Pretty cool. Okay, so now, back to my tip here. We're going to take the SmartArt. I'm going to click inside the SmartArt to select the entire SmartArt. And then Control-A will select all of the shapes.
Okay.
Control-C to copy, go to a new spot, and I'm going to paste that. And now instead of being SmartArt, where I'm not allowed to create formulas.
Dumb art. You've dumbified it.
But the beautiful thing about
But it still looks the same.
dumb art is that we can set up a cell. So let me just put a formula over here. Hello. We can set up, click on the shape, say it's I-20 equals I-20.
Oh, so it's just now real. It's just a cell. The shape is just a cell.
Yeah. So this could be a constant calculation if you have a web query or something like that.
You've lost the ability to redefine it, change the colors and all that stuff.
Right.
But so once you've got the art the way you like it, then
That's it.
make it dumb art. And
Exactly.
You can put stuff
and
in.
then you
That's
can have
great.
live formulas. So
Very neat. I have to say, I've taken some selling on Office 2007 because it's so different.
right. Yeah, it is very frustrating that menu that you used to have is gone, and you have to figure out where everything is now.
The ribbon thing.
But I've written a couple of books now about Excel 2007. I've used it.
Oh, you have?
And I know where everything is. I'm very comfortable with it. So that's
a good sign.
The first week was bad.
Right.
But after that, you kind of get used to it, and it's better now.
You've won me over. I'm going to download it now. And you can. It's in a beta test right now. It's
Beta
free
2
to
is
download.
out. It's very stable. I have it running on a couple of different machines, and very few problems. The problems are so obscure that no one would ever run into them.
You can use it till next year when it comes out for real, and
That's
then you
right.
have to buy it.
I think it's like June of next year you can get it.
June of next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you said you have some new books on Office 2007. Will they be out soon?
They'll be out, well, as soon as Office comes out. That's the.
Oh, you have to wait.
With every delay, yeah, the books get delayed.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Well, meanwhile, Learn Excel from Mr. Excel. This covers, of course, the latest version of Excel, and will be updated to include Office 2007 as soon as it
Sooner or
comes
later.
out.
Yep. And then there is a book specifically on SmartArt.
Oh, there is?
It's a little ebook. It's called Leveraging SmartArt, and that'll be out towards the end of this year, I would guess.
Oh, that's great.
So.
And find out all about it at MrExcel.com. That's the place to go. Or our website, callforhelptv.com. He has daily video podcasts, too, which are very highly rated.
Yes.
People love them.
Over 200 episodes now.
You're just doing so great. And of course, he answers tens of thousands of questions each and every year for free. MrExcel.com. And he joins us regularly. We're glad to have him. We'll be back with final thoughts right after this. Mr. Excel brought Mr. Excel Jr. with him.
Zeke, I think is his name.
Zeke. I like Mr. Excel Jr. better.
Mini Excel.
Mini Excel. Yeah. I wonder if he knows spreadsheet and stuff. And I mean, he's about
Probably.
13, 12, 14.
Yeah, it's hard
He's
to
young,
tell.
young kid.
Probably 12.
Yeah. Young boy.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was fun to see Mr. Excel Jr. And it's been fun to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you'll come back. And if you've got a question you'd like to ask on the show, we'd love to hear from you. Go to the website, click the link, fill out the form. Remember, if you've got a problem with your personal confuser,
Don't whine.
don't moan.
Don't yell.
Just
Call for help.
what she said. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Laugh a while you can, monkey boy.